Howdy folks, it's me, Effing Controller, playing another patrol in Silent Hunter 3. This will be Lucky Patrol number 13, and as you can see, we're already underway, and that's because I have a little bit of a surprise for you. We have a new boat, and look at that guy's scrumptious ass. It's pretty flat, actually. So this is actually a new boat. It's a bigger boat. Let's see if we can get a good old... Look at its big old caboose there. Wow. So yeah, this is a Type 9C. We were sailing in a Type 7 before. And the Type 9 is a bigger boat, and that affords it a little bit more fuel. It allows it to sail... Actually, not a little bit more fuel, it's a lot more fuel. It can sail about 13,000 nautical miles. Our Type 7 had significantly less range than that. Now you guys are going to interrupt me. Thanks. Just fly on by. Thank you. Alright, and also, in addition to more fuel, it has a bigger deck gun. This is a 105 as opposed to an 88. Downside to that is that it has less ammo, but it has more destructive capacity too, so it makes up for it a little bit. It'll slow us down a little bit and turn. So I don't crash this new boat into the shore over there. That would be kind of embarrassing. What else? Oh, it also has a lot more torpedoes. It has 22. 4, 10, 16, yeah, 22. Good guess, me. So that's awesome. It can just basically attack over and over again. It also has a second tube in the rear. It's got 2 in the stink. No, why did I say that? But disadvantages, it's also, I mean, it is bigger, obviously, so that also means that it is easier to see. And also easier to hit with things like bombs, and depth charges, and shells. So that's a kind of a downside to this thing. But it makes up for it with just being so gosh darn versatile. Versatile, whatever. Just pick your pronunciation and go with it. So with that new range in mind, I was kind of looking at the map and figuring out where to go. We could go to Greenland, but we won't do that ever. We could also go to Canada, but ugh. And then we could also go to the Caribbean, which I might do at some point. But I was really turning my sights towards Africa. I want to bless the rains down in Africa. It's going to take a lot to drag me away from you. And actually, as I've zoomed in to indicate, we're going to pay a visit to Freetown, because Freetown, if you look at the map, is a convoy layover point. A lot of convoys go through Freetown to get to their respective destinations, usually in Europe or in the Caribbean. So, whoa! And I figured that would be a nice little spot to check out. I really haven't spent very much time in Africa in the game, so I'm thinking that that'll be interesting. What else? Oh, and there's other things that you may notice that are slightly different. Leading among them is a difference in how the graphics look. Last patrol I was using a mod called MEP, which does a bunch of things, really. It doesn't just change the graphics, it does that beautifully, but it also changes how the atmosphere of the game works, I guess you'd say. So it changes how far away you can see things, in particular, is one major thing, and thus it also has to change how the game how the game has your men detect contacts and things like that. That's a bit of a problem if it doesn't work right, and it wasn't working right last patrol. I've actually started this patrol about 3 times now, and so I've had a chance to rehearse that little spiel I've given you guys. It doesn't show, but whatever. And I wasn't able to really get it to work, so unfortunately I've just had to flat out disable it. I've done different tweaks, I've done different install orders on the mods, you name it, I've done it. It just hasn't worked. So I'm going to go without it, and hopefully that will rectify the issue. If it doesn't, then we're going to be up Pooh Creek, I think. We're just going to be walking in Pooh Creek. I keep thinking I hear a shell going over the top of us. It's just how the engine sounds. At the very end there, it sounds a little bit like the sound that shells will make in the game. And now, see, that's weird. That looks like the MEP sun. It does hard code or hard mod the executable, so maybe we're going to have a fun bug-filled patrol. Who cares? It'll be fun. There'll probably be all kinds of reality-bending events that'll happen, so it'll add to the crappy commentary that I give to this game. So yeah, that's the plan. We're going to make our way down towards Freetown, probably based on these convoy routes. We're going to shoot, west-southwest into the Lusitanian Sea here. Go around Madeira, the Canaries here, and then the Cape Verdes here. Just basically follow this convoy route to Freetown, and then I can check it out and see if it's worth shooting at things there. Which I think it probably will be. Oh, and where are my manners? I have new crewmen. So everybody, welcome these guys aboard. Here we have Matthew Hoover, whose name is suspiciously English or American or something. So he's probably confused. He meant to enlist in the Royal Navy, and he ended up in the Kriegsmarine. That old predicament. That happens all the time. And also confused is Corporal Cabbage, because he's a corporal. I don't know that there's very many corporals in the German Kriegsmarine, but whatever. We're happy to have him aboard. They're both are torpedo men. They're men made entirely out of torpedoes. I didn't know you had a helmsman qualification. What the shit? You're useful. Fantastic. Go there. Because torpedo men are notoriously lazy. They don't really do very much for most of your patrols. They just end up laying in bed and writing in their journals and, telling dirty stories to each other. So, because, after all, they do work with torpedoes. They're all greased up and manly, and their minds are just running wild with all kinds of innuendos, and it's just a gross situation. So, let's see. Have I forgotten anything else? I guess I could talk a little bit. Oh, yeah, the time. That's really important. It's actually April 12th. You'll remember that we ended the last patrol in January. So it's taken a while for my crew to get acquainted with our new boat, which I believe is the U-66, which was, I think, the leading ship in the class of the Type 9Cs. So it's a good boat, but it takes a while to learn how to use a completely different system, so the game reflects that. It also carried over most of my crew, actually, which is not realistic. You probably wouldn't be able to just take your crew with you when you got assigned to a new ship, but whatever. Well, that I like my subscribers so much, I decided to keep them with me. So they're still going to be malingering on this cruise of mine. April is a boring month as far as I know in terms of the war, but May is a very interesting month. So that actually brings to mind one other objective, and I know that this is getting really wordy for an intro, but I do feel obliged to explain to you the general situation of the patrol and the game and everything. Once we go down to Freetown, I think I might end up going back north again to check out some of the events that will be happening in May. I don't know if I really want to spoil it, but it's obviously, if you have access to a computer, you can look up the timeline of the Atlantic War and find out what I'm talking about. But I might leave it as kind of a surprise. And you know what? It may not end up working out anyways. So that's the plan. We're going to actually go to Africa and then back up here and then back home. So, phew, I think that's it. Good God. Yeah, so we're just going to pilot out of the harbor, not crash into anything, and make our way towards Freetown. I'm not forgetting anything. Thank you. There is an aircraft spotted. That's the one thing I forgot to note. Okay, I'm going to plot a course to get out of here and pick things up in case something interesting happens, as usual. We've made it all the way down, actually past the Canary Islands before getting to our first contact. Kind of surprised it took this long. Usually there's contacts all through here, but we'll take what we can get at this point. It's a single contact reported heading east-northeast slow, so I'm inferring that to be about 6 knots. It can be 4, or as few as 4. Conditions are pretty crummy as far as the waves, so that's probably why it's in as slow. I bet it's trying to go 8 knots, but it can't make that much speed. So we're going to try to intercept them. I have us going ahead full. And we'll see if they're actually heading east-northeast, because oftentimes when... well, that works, I guess. oftentimes when it says that, they're just going that way briefly, but we've seen that before. I don't really need to explain that to you guys. You guys are just as experienced as I am, pretty much. So, let's see. Now, to that intercept point, yeah, we've got... I'm going to put a little, roughly 20-kilometer bubble around that. Because initially I was afraid that we weren't going to get any contacts whatsoever and that there was some kind of bug with the game, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Hopefully it's not the case. Hopefully this isn't just some kind of fake contact that the game is throwing at me to make me think that it doesn't hate me. It hates me, though. So let's see. 650, moving at about 6 knots, we'll assume. That would be 3-4 kilometers that it would have traveled. It actually is probably not even there yet. So I'm going to follow along that line for a wee bit. Yeah, this is actually kind of a stupid idea because we're well ahead of them. What we'll do is we'll kind of crisscross along this line. And then, once we run into them, I will pick up the action there. But for now, we're just going to trace along this line and hope that we run into them. I'm not expecting a visual contact because of the waves, but it might happen. We'll have to periodically do dives to catch them. We have a visual sighting, and we're drowning. It's 25. We didn't get a pop-up window, though. And that makes me a sad panda, because it's probably neutral. But there it is. Conditions are pretty bad anyways, so a shot wouldn't necessarily be advisable because we're, again, drowning. But we're gonna see if we can take a look. Vroom. I do want to get an ID on it. Good God. We'll just kind of scoot along because I'm not too concerned with being seen by him. Fairly certain that he's neutral of some kind. You can't really tell right off the bat because it's daylight out. Otherwise, I think he'd be lit up, but... increase speed, even. And if he isn't neutral, then I'm gonna really feel silly, but... okay, that flag, I can just kind of make it out. I'm not seeing any red, which is really the big thing that you're looking for. You're looking for red for the British flag. And I'm not seeing it. Gonna get a little bit closer. And I'm gonna have to get my flag sheet out here. It could be Italian. Was it? There's some red. No, there's no red. It's just green. No red. Maybe Irish. Possibly Irish, they're neutral. Possibly Portuguese, they're neutral. There's no red, though. Possibly Brazilian. Possibly Egyptian. Is it Egyptian? You know what? I think it's Brazilian. I think I can see some blue. So that's crap. Let's actually verify that. Let me see if I can go take a look. I'm actually going to turn us around too while I'm at it because I'm pretty sure we're not taking a shot here. Where'd he go? Oh. Derp. Survey says if he's Egyptian, I'm going to feel silly. But again, it didn't pop up, so... yeah, that's Brazilian. Damn it all. That really sucks. Probably hauling unimportant cargo, like a bunch of Brazilian slings, a bunch of banana hammocks. Can you imagine Winston Churchill in a Brazilian sling? Just imagine that. Get that etched into your consciousness there. Whee! He's having a grand old time out here on the North Atlantic. I guess this isn't really the North Atlantic anymore. So that sucked. But there are at least ships out here. That's encouraging. And in a way, it's not a big deal because we will hopefully have an opportunity to expend some armament here in Freetown anyway, so... Oh well. Shine on, you crazy diamond. Well, we're gonna replot a course down to Freetown and hopefully run into something more interesting there. It would appear that we have some kind of contact here. Heading north at medium speed, so I marked it as 80 here for the distance, just to remind me that they're going approximately 8 knots. Let's see where they will be. That's 15, so that's probably good for 5 hours from now, right? Derp. Trying to do math, and yeah, so we're going to have to increase our speed significantly. There you go. Alright, so we should get there in plenty of time. Notch it up a little bit. Whoa. Uh-oh. Dear me. That sounds obnoxious. I would love, love, love to actually torpedo a submarine while it's actually underway. We did get a shot off on a submarine while in port, but it's just not the same. Alright, so we're just gonna chase these guys down. I was just thinking, actually, too, one of the historic events that happened in March of 1941 is that basically the entire, well, not the entire, the top 3 U-boat captains, Preen, Schepke, and Kretschmer, they were all killed or lost, and we just got a stutter there actually too. And they were like within 2 weeks of each other, so not a good time to be in the Kriegsmarine. So yeah. Oh, that's a, is that a radio contact? So he's now heading north-northeast, medium speed. Put it like, maybe like that. Geez, he's really close. Why don't we turn it a little bit more westerly? But yeah, so basically the war is not going so great at this point. It's still going okay. I mean, Germany is still holding out, and you know the Blitz is still going on, and it's terrible too, of course. But let's see. I'm gonna dive and see if I can hear them. We're well under now. We should be able to hear them right away. I think we are still getting a little bit of delay, but ah. There you go. We might have to proceed on the surface then because they're a little bit further ahead of where I want them to be. Yeah. There was the contact. Ooh, warship. So, the fact that it stuttered a bit indicates that it's probably a convoy. Usually if it's a single ship it won't do that, but we already have sighted the warship somewhere here. It was at 70 degrees or so. I'm going to bust out the Uzo. Why did I say 70 degrees? It's not even remotely accurate. Where do you go? Okay. So there's the destroyer. I'm not seeing much of anything else. These are not the best conditions to be hunting in because the waves are so ridiculous. Should be immediately behind the destroyer. Oh, is he coming right for us? No, he's just on a normal search pattern. Okay. That was a little bit scary. Ah, there's... Ooh! Tasty. It's a large merchant off in the distance. There's the destroyer. We gotta keep our eye on him. So this could just be a single contact with a warship escort. That's fine by me. Especially since it's a large merchant. My favorite. And we lost lock, but that's to be expected. Clickety, clickety. Clickety. And he's very far away, so we're gonna... I don't know, should we go underwater? They're heading probably about like this. So... yeah, I'm gonna keep going a little bit. What I'm also gonna do is do something called the 315 method. And actually, can I do it from here? Does this thing work? No. Okay. Why not? Please? Screw you. Alright, fine then. We'll have to kind of do it approximately then. It's kind of the best we can do. Just move that right there. A little bit behind of where he really is. And we're just going to run this for 3 minutes and 15 seconds. And what that will do is it'll give us 2 positions. And that second position, if you draw a line from where the first mark was made to the second position, that'll give you its exact speed. Just because of the conversion of... oh, hey, this works if you... that's interesting. Okay. Very good. Well, this is going to take a little while, so maybe I'll stop until it's... oh, actually, no. We'll just speed time up. If I could speed up time... alright. A little bit disconcerted that we're not really seeing him so much, but... almost at 3 minutes here. Actually, there we go. And we're almost there. Just oh, ha. Actually, I should have just marked him. Oh well. It's about right there. Okay. So we're gonna cut out the chronometer here. Get out of there. Alright, so now we're gonna draw a line. He's heading approximately 10 knots. Ta-da! As if by magic. And, oh, there's another contact there. It's a little passenger, a small passenger liner there. So this is technically what would be considered a small convoy. I'm not really going to probably shoot at the small passenger there just because it's probably going to not get hit. Or is that a... I'm just wondering if it's an Empire freighter now. Let's take a look at it again. No. It's too flat. Okay. So anyway. We know this guy's speed. Now we just have to wait until he's in a good firing position, and we can just go ahead and wait for a little while then. We don't want to get too close because we don't want the destroyer to see us, but there's not much risk of that because of the waves. Yeah, there's the other ship. We could actually even turn a little bit more south just to get this going, because we are fairly close to the destroyer at this point. That's actually probably good. Okay. That'll suffice. Yeah, he's actually dead ahead of us. That's not ideal, but oh well. So, range 4.6 clicks. so. Maybe a little steeper. And we'll mark in a speed. We're going to use, if I recall, yeah, those are our type 1s. Under these conditions, I find them to be a little bit more reliable. Okay. That thing has a draft of 9, as I recall. Yeah. Alrighty. I'm a little bit concerned about the fact that we're going to be using I'm a little bit concerned about the waves, so that's why I'm using a type 1 magnetic as opposed to a type 2 magnetic, which would probably just go off and be useless. So I think as long as we're still locked on him, we're good to go. Yeah, we're going to open the tube. And fire that one. This one I'm going to have as an impact, but I'm going to run it a little deep. Just because of the waves. 5.5. And why don't we notch up the speed a little, just by like a half a knot. And fire. Okay, let's go under and try not to die. I hope that method worked. But if it didn't, we'll find out shortly enough. And I really wish you could see the torpedo wakes a little bit better, but just have to make do. Do. As in doo-doo. Alright, so once we get under, actually I'm just going to put us at periscope depth. I had us going to 67 meters, but that's a bit too deep. I want to be able to actually watch this unfold. So we're going to put the scope up. We're getting washed out of the water, but that's fine. I liked my solution that I came up with based on what I was seeing on the map. And yeah, I'm not too sure about these torpedoes. This one's going to run well ahead, I think. But this one looks pretty good. Yeah. Let's go take a look topside, because I think that's going to hit unless it prematurely detonates. So that was the first one I shot, and it was actually, strangely enough, it was slower than this one. It was having, or it had the target as being slower than the other one, but whatever. Let's see if we get a hit out of this. Fingers crossed. Ba-bam! Put the scope down, he's shining his frickin' spotlight on us. Yeah, and there's a star shell going off there. Alright, well, that was a nifty little hit in pretty poor conditions. It wasn't dead on middle. I like to hit him right around the boiler, but again, conditions being what they were, I will take that and run with it, and I will literally run with it, because I need to get under. And we should go silent. Somebody reminded me that you can just push the Z key, so I'm going to be doing that from now on, hopefully, if I can remember. I wonder which direction I should go. He doesn't look too bad off yet, but with these waves, it could be that he doesn't stand much of a chance even with the one hit. But a bit surprised about that other torpedo that just flat out missed. But again, it could be due to the conditions. I actually would like to go back and look at the footage to see specifically why I missed there, but we're heading right for the destroyer, so that's probably not wise. Oh, nope, he's actually over here. He's not in the right area at all. He's doing some, he's doing a search pattern here, so I'm just going to keep going north, and hopefully he'll rejoin the convoy, such as it is, it looks like it is just the two merchants. Are we in deep water? Yeah. That's the other contact from that. And he is already giving up. So that went pretty well. I'm going to try to line up another attack on them. And he is lagging behind. You can see that these two lines... Let's slow it down. These two lines are now basically side by side. They were in a column. So that's a good sign. That means that the merchant is probably crippled. We're going to go on the surface and take another shot at him, but it's going to take me a little bit of time to get into position. So I'll catch up at that point.